Oh, can somebody connect me to Wi-Fi? Yes, we're live. We're back, guys. I'm so sorry for the delay.
This man posits his identity as a performer.
Now, this has to be illegal. I don't even know if the evidence they've collected will even be usable.
Whoever wants to fucking hate because I'm back on top can suck my fucking big uncircumcised.
Apparently this guy's named Vitaly. I want to take a moment here to explore a long-forgotten art form of content creation, the prank video. You may not see it as much these days, but understand the prank video once served as the quickest and easiest way to becoming an overnight viral sensation, if you were willing to abandon any semblance of decency, that is. During the height of this era, fedora-touting hipsters were the artists, a 720p camera was the paintbrush, and an otherwise peaceful public park was the canvas. It was an unholy combination of circumstances that produced such wonderful titles as Flashing Children Prank, Breaking Strangers' Phones Prank, and Bloody Body in Suitcase Prank. Those last two were actually made by the same guy. Shout out to highly esteemed former congressional candidate Joey Salads. The version of YouTube we all know and loved in the 2010s introduced us to a new archetype of attention-seeking maniacs, many of whom we're still having to put up with all these years later. But not him. We are doing a video on FouseyTube, but at least not yet. Today, I want to direct your attention towards a different craftsman of sorts, a pioneer in an ecosystem of professional pranksters whose psychotic adventures seem to extend far beyond the bounds of a computer screen. A controversial Russian influencer who rose to shocking prominence, then lost it all, only to gain it right back again thanks to the career-saving entity known only as Kick.com. This man's online trajectory is truly one of a kind. Join me today in exploring the tragic, chaotic, and seemingly never-ending chronicles of VitalyzdTv. But before any of that, I do want to go ahead and thank today's sponsor, Delete Me. Not many people know that your personal information can be bought over the internet by pretty much anyone. Believe it or not, shady data brokers exist, and they are more than willing to sell all of your privacy in order to make a quick buck, increasing your risk of being doxxed or harassed or stalked, you know, things that I don't want to happen to you or myself. Having a customized dashboard with a list of sites they have removed my data from has really helped put into perspective just how at risk I was before signing up for an account. With Delete Me, I can keep track of all sorts of valuable information, like where my name, my age, my height, which is very tall by the way, or my address had been posted without me even being aware of it, reducing your risk of identity theft or getting caught up in phishing scams. It just makes life easier, and you can actually join too. All you have to do is click the link in the description below or go to joindeleteme.com/Jobbery and use code Jobbery at checkout for 20% off all consumer plans. That's joindeleteme.com/Jobbery, promo code Jobbery. Huge thanks again to all the wonderful people over at Delete Me for keeping our information safe and sponsoring this video. That's the most important thing. As long as he can remember, Vitaly Zdrojevsky always wanted his name up in lights. Born in Murmansk, Russia, just north of the Arctic Circle on March 8th, 1992, Vitaly once lived under a different set of lights before moving with his mother to Odessa, Ukraine on the Black Sea. He was just 7 years old when he first watched the Terminator movies, which he considers an early inspiration for an undying passion to entertain the masses, which would follow him throughout his adolescence.
I'll be back.
I wanted to act. I wanted to move to America and be in the movies.
Moving to the west side of Florida at age 14, Vitaly attended Park Vista High School in Boca Raton, where he trained to become a pro skateboarder until an unfortunate injury rendered such dreams unattainable. But Vitaly always had a rebellious streak. The first time he ever got arrested was at 16. After getting drunk at a water park, he apparently cut the cue for a slide and grabbed his crotch through his swim trunks, telling a lifeguard to suck his dick when he got in trouble.
What was the first time you ever went to jail? Was it making videos?
No, it's indecent exposure. I was 16 years old, and then the lifeguard on the bottom leaned over the railings, and he goes, "You need to calm down now." I'm like, I grab my hand, my crotch through the pants. I'm like, "Suck my dick." I can barely speak English. That's all I know. the guy told the cops I whooped out my dick.
He maintains he never pulled his dick out of his trunks, even if the lifeguard claimed he did. Vitaly, however, would whip it out on a different occasion. Shortly after his 18th birthday, the young wannabe star was offered the biggest role of his life in a Bang Bros video. Strapped for cash and in desperate search of a way into the entertainment business, Vitaly accepted. But when the Viagra he popped failed to get the job done, Vitaly determined the adult film industry wasn't for him.
I'm glad I didn't perform well, because if I did, I would have been a porn star till today. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a movie star, not a fucking porn star. In the end, was it worth it? Totally.
Nonetheless, he did what he needed to do. He took the bag and moved him and his mother out to Los Angeles, distancing them both from her physically abusive husband. Vitaly has gone on the record to describe his stepfather as nothing short of belligerent. Witnessing domestic abuse up close, Vitaly often found himself the target of the violence as well.
If I drank a cup of tea and I didn't put a cup in the dishwasher, oh, he would beat me. It was bad. And then my mom, I had to see my mom get beat up. I did what I could. I stood up for her, but he was just unstoppable.
Vitaly never had the smoothest upbringing, but relocating to the West Coast marked a new beginning. After working a series of odd jobs here and there, Vitaly was eventually promoted from busboy to waiter, where he silently hoped that a famous movie director would soon come around and discover him. But when this never happened, Vitaly heroically chose to take matters into his own hands.
I started a YouTube channel. When I first started YouTube, it was super hard. I got 63 subscribers in like 3 or 4 months. It was horrible.
This was 2011, and Justin Bieber had just been discovered via YouTube a few years prior. Vitaly understood the potential YouTube offered. The prospect of turning yourself into an overnight viral success had just been made available to anyone with a camera and a little bit of talent. So he took his shot. Vitaly would post for about 3 to 4 months without seeing any modicum of success though, and after a while, his optimism began to shrink. He even considered giving up on the venture entirely until one very peculiar video. A video that would change the trajectory of his life as he knew it. On June 3rd, 2012, his Miami zombie attack prank went viral, racking up an extraordinary 33 million views as of today. But to understand its massive popularity, we're gonna need some context. Just 8 days before Vitaly's video came out, authorities arrived at the MacArthur Causeway Bridge near Miami Beach to find a 31-year-old Rudy Eugene eating the face of a homeless man named Ronald Papo. Rudy, who was believed to be on bath salts at the time, had stripped down to his underwear and accused Ronald of stealing his Bible. He then began biting at the innocent man's flesh, ripping off chunks with his teeth and spitting them out onto the ground, as put by MiamiHaunts.com. He gouged Ronald's right eye out and sunk his teeth into his left eye. The attack continued for a full 18 minutes. When he refused to cease the gruesome assault, Rudy was shot dead in the street, but not before consuming over 75% of the poor man's face. A true motive was never officially determined, and it turned out Rudy wasn't on bath salts at all. The only substance found in his body seemed to be marijuana, but that didn't stop it from becoming a national symbol of Miami's drug epidemic thanks to the rampant coverage that followed. The fact that the whole thing was captured on a nearby security camera only elevated its infamy. Miraculously, Ronald actually ended up surviving the attack, but required heavy surgery and spent several years in a long-term medical facility per CBS News. He was left permanently blind and without a nose. Now, a regular person would see all of this as the tragedy that it is, but a person like Vitaly, on the other hand, would see something else. The subsequent shock and paranoia that struck Miami-Dade like a tidal wave was merely an opportunity for Vitaly to make a name for himself. And so, pining for his big break on YouTube, he took it. The 3-minute video depicts a snarling Vitaly hunched over in a blood-soaked t-shirt as he hobbles around growling at people in the streets of Miami as he pretends to be some kind of zombie. Though, as some commenters were quick to point out, those unfortunate enough to be featured in this video had seen the news and were not so much afraid of falling victim to a quote-unquote zombie attack as they were uneasy in the face of what seemed like yet another drug-addled cannibal similar to the one splashed across so many local
local headlines. But that's not the only element viewers picked up on. Vitaly also faced backlash for almost exclusively targeting black communities, which he and his friend responded to in a follow-up.
So a lot of people actually were asking me why I'm doing the pranks only to black people.
Well, to clear it up, I mean, we did it to everybody. But you know, as we were going through, black people gave us the best reactions. So you know what we did? We took it an extra mile. We took it to the hood. We took it to the hood.
Martin Luther King Boulevard.
There you go.
But this was far from the only prank to land Vitaly in hot water. During his exploits, he would also be arrested for impersonating an officer. After baselessly accusing several black men of a fake robbery on one occasion, ticketing them for their pants being too low, and humiliating them by making the men walk around a pole saying that they didn't do it in order for him to believe them. In a separate incident, he walks up to a random car, asks if the driver has weed on him, then gets them to step out of the vehicle for a pat down. He's not a cop, okay, mind you, he's just a normal citizen. Well, normal is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, I guess. Vitaly would also become known to law enforcement for instigating bomb threats. His Russian hitman 60 Seconds prank, for example, involved him in character as the fictional hitman Dmitri, walking up to random strangers in public. He would drop an ominous black suitcase down in front of them and offer a menacing warning.
Your life, your choice. 60 seconds.
This would understandably cause people to panic, scattering in all different directions, giving Vitaly the precise reaction he had been looking for. Now, Vitaly claims the suitcase was actually filled with money, and if only people weren't such pussies and didn't run away, they would have discovered that for themselves.
People are pussies. Your life, your choice. Do you want to take the risk or are you going to live in fear? Open the suitcase. There's real money inside. Wow. Everybody ran. Everybody.
But I'm not too sure the experiment worked that way. When a stranger drops a suitcase in front of you and strongly implies there's a bomb inside, can you really blame them for not wanting to touch it? The natural response would be to run away. In fact, one 51-year-old military veteran featured towards the end of the video gave Vitaly a little bit more than he had bargained for. Convinced the suitcase contained explosives, the understandably startled man chased Vitaly through a parking lot before police arrived to arrest the Russian prankster and his cameraman on felony bomb hoax charges. Although his upload didn't contain any of the raw audio from the event, news reports from 2012 state that the man shouted at Vitaly to turn his camera off, to which he reportedly assured him it was off. Lying, of course, the footage is still up on his channel with 18 million views, the man's face left uncensored. Although Boca Raton officers defended the veteran's response, Vitaly complained to the Sun Sentinel that the bomb squad came. Can you believe that? Yeah, I can. It's kind of the most believable outcome if you're not an idiot. The vet, for his part, was quoted by The World as saying, "I was already having a bad day, and then you motherfuckers come over here and make it worse." As he later said on a podcast, though, Vitaly was already on the run in Key West for having a fake ID, and eventually landed himself in jail for 60 days, where he did not jerk off for 45 of those days. I don't know why that was important, but he mentioned it in the interview, and I would be sorely remiss if I didn't include it here.
Spent 60 days in jail, didn't jerk off for 45. Then I did jerk off while I was making food in the kitchen. Didn't wash my hands because everybody deserved my babies. But
unlike his suitcase, Vitaly's channel would very much explode. Upon returning home from the slammer, Vitaly saw his sub count skyrocket up to 5 million by the beginning of 2014. His pranks took the algorithm by storm, climbing the ranks of mainstream stardom along with his contemporaries Roman Atwood and FouseyTube. The trio would end up making quite a bit of content together, with Vitaly and Roman actually teaming up at one point for a part 2 of the infamous zombie cannibal prank that we all loved so much. Their collaborative endeavors would eventually reach a zenith in 2016 with the critically panned film Natural Born Pranksters, which currently sits at a tepid 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I did not watch this movie in preparation for this video. I'm sorry, after seeing the trailer and skimming the Wikipedia synopsis, I think I'm just better off not wasting 90 minutes of my time on an unfunny jackass ripoff. Life is simply too short, and as I've learned from Vitaly, it is my life, my choice. What Vitaly chose to do with his life is go streaking on numerous occasions, including at the 2014 World Cup, the 2016 NBA Finals, the 2017 World Series, and the Cricket World Cup in 2019. Just kidding, that last one was actually his mom. Further confirmation that the apple doesn't fall far. Still, despite all of these stunts, Vitaly continued to crash through impressive milestones throughout the 2010s, generating widespread press and even becoming Justin Bieber's favorite YouTuber as of 2015. In a sort of weird full circle moment, Vitaly finally earned his diamond play button when he surpassed 10 million subscribers in 2020, ringing in the new year with an exuberant trip to Giza where he would film himself climbing the Great Pyramids, which, in case you weren't aware, is a very big no-no in terms of legality. And trust me, the Egyptian police are very much the kind that you don't want to piss off. Vitaly knew this, but much like the rest of his career, opted for the route that gave him more views and money. Almost immediately, though, he realized how futile this idea really was.
I just ran, and I ran on the wrong side. I ran in the blocks where they fade. So I started sliding it down, and I look back, I'm like, I'm not gonna die, but I'll break a leg or two. So I started like doing like this with my nails to the big blocks that more spread open, and I start running. And you just hear whistles, people screaming at me, and the guy started chasing me.
It was here that Vitaly had to make a very tough decision. Egyptian authorities were quickly closing in on him, and he figured that once he was taken into custody, his camera equipment would be confiscated, and the prized footage may never see the light of day. So Vitaly, being the true entertainer he is, decided to take matters into his own hands, or anus, pulling out a condom that he just conveniently had with him, I guess. Vitaly slipped the memory card out of the camera and into its new rubber home, before shoving the condom all the way back up his own ass. It was a last-ditch effort to make sure the footage would be recovered in the event that police refused to give his equipment back, which resulted in Vitaly not pooping for the next 5 days he spent in jail.
So I don't poop for 5 days, right? Because I was waiting to get out of jail. So they put me in jail.
Hang on, you were in there for 5 days.
5 days.
But one person can only stand by for so long before nature runs its course, and finally, Vitaly released the condom from its restful hiding place. But he quickly discovered that while the condom remained intact, the memory card was suddenly and miraculously gone without a trace.
I go poop. The condom comes out, but the SD cards are gone.
Huh?
I don't know.
I can tell you, I've never once wondered the pH level of someone's asshole before, but the fact that Vitaly's colon managed to somehow dissolve a memory card should probably be studied in a lab. Bro absorbed the footage into his bloodstream and is playing it back in his brain for all I know. I have no idea what the f could happen to that thing. But the grand irony is that he didn't even need to do all of that. Not only did the police return his equipment in the end, Vitaly had managed to successfully send the footage off to his editor while still on top of the pyramid before being taken into custody. He didn't need to shove it into his asshole, he just wanted to do that. Two-factor authentication wasn't needed after all. The two factors, of course, being his ass cheeks. I shouldn't have to tell you that Vitaly was deported back to the States and blacklisted from ever returning to Egypt again. If nothing else, they were probably afraid of his radioactive ass contaminating the city or something, I don't know. But I do know that this entire debacle, getting dumped by his girlfriend, slipping into excessive drug and alcohol use, and an impending pandemic, all spelled bad news for what would become a catastrophic year.
Why do you keep coughing? Because you're what?
I'm a mushroom.
A mushroom?
Yeah.
That makes you cough? Oh, I didn't know that was a side effect.
On the evening of April 12th, 2020, Lily Jensen was out on a casual jog heading eastbound on Daytonia Road when she was suddenly ambushed by a badly inebriated Vitaly. By his own account, he had just ingested 60 grams of mushrooms back at his house, around 17 times what the average person normally takes, just for perspective. As he told Roman Atwood in 2022, he began hearing voices in his head and was convinced there were snipers up on the roof wanting to kill him. He had run out of his house and out towards the beach, but when he was unable to escape these hallucinations, he returned back to the neighborhood. As stated in a police report, Vitaly spotted Lily and intentionally impeded her path forward. She tried to move around him, it says, but Vitaly began approaching her with an open arms gesture as if to grab her. This frightened Lily, as she did not know what this strange man was trying to do, and began pleading with him to leave her alone. Still, he advanced forward, and before she could escape, escape, Vitaly violently threw himself on top of the defenseless woman, pinning her to the ground with his full body weight and straddling her as she laid flat on her back. This is when Vitaly began incessantly punching Lily in the face and chest with a closed fist. She began crying out, which summoned several eyewitnesses who later attested to the brutality firsthand. I'm gonna play some of the 911 call, but I will let you know there is a trigger warning here for distressing content, so feel free to skip to the timestamp on screen now if you'd rather not listen.
Somebody's outside beating the out of somebody. Lock your doors and windows and do not let the person in. Are there any weapons involved? No. No, he's just beating the out of somebody. Okay. Female on the ground. He was punching her in the face left and right. Okay. The female's in our driveway. I'm just beating the out of a girl.
The male, is he white or black?
She's white. They're both white. A white guy with blondish hair, wearing no t-shirt and young shorts. He's got blood all over her.
Once enough people showed up, the report states Vitaly retreated into his home, where he was soon arrested by Miami PD. The aftermath was all documented via body cam footage.
Put your hand on the car, man. No, put your hand on the car. Just lean on the car, please. Lean on the car right there. Hey, right here.
Can you do us a favor?
Listen.
Can you do us a favor and wait for us over there, please? Can you do us that favor?
Put your hands behind the back. Put your hands behind the back. I'm not telling you again.
I got to save the life.
Put your hands behind the back. Hey, let me get another cup, bro.
I won't show you what Lily's face looked like immediately after the attack, but photos released by TMZ show the entire right side of her face completely swollen. Her right eye was severely damaged to the point that she needed stitches. The intensity of this beating should really be emphasized. This was a vicious attack that frankly she could have died from. It didn't take long for Vitaly to post a $7,500 bond, and it also wasn't long before Lily filed a civil suit against her attacker and his corporation. Because all of this was immediately made public, news spread quickly, and Vitaly watched as his entire online career slipped through his fingers in a matter of days. His brand deals collapsed, his relationship with YouTube was in shambles, and his reputation in the community would never return to where it had once been. Some may think this was the sole incident that prompted his exodus from the internet, but that's not entirely what happened. Vitaly did in fact attempt to promote himself again that October, but if the universe was trying to tell him something, he certainly got the message after a skydiving accident nearly put him 6 feet under. In an attempt to advertise one of his business ventures, which just so happened to be a porn site, Vitaly purchased a canopy that read Vitaly Uncensored and planned to fly it over the city to advertise what was essentially just a Girls Gone Wild knockoff. He was getting pretty desperate financially and was eager to pull off a new stunt, but that eagerness almost physically paralyzed him because he had the canopy rush ordered to him, and when he rush ordered it, he didn't get a chance to confirm whether or not it was the right size. Turns out it was too small. If he had just waited a bit longer and gotten a bigger size, Vitaly probably would have avoided a narrow brush with death. But hey, what do I know? I'm not an avid skydiver, and neither is Vitaly. As he told Austin Zabak in 2023, things seemed to be going alright at first, until they weren't.
Flying this canopy, I'm turning left, it doesn't turn, and I like have to go through. Usually you're supposed to go like this on the parachute and go, woo, you dive. It doesn't do anything. So 5-6 jumps later, I'm flying towards the ground. I'm going so fast and I'm trying to flare. Flare means stop. And you're supposed to fly into the wind to slow you down. There was no wind. The wind just stopped while we were jumping in the air, in the free fall. So I'm flying towards the ground to like 40 miles an hour, stick my legs out thinking I'm gonna slide in the grass. And it just, boom, impact on my butt.
Vitaly essentially free fell from an airplane onto a grass field, with the pain shooting directly up his body as he landed flat on his ass. He ended up cracking his C1 bone in his neck and his L4 near the bottom of his spine. The doctors informed him his bone had shifted to the right, but if it had gone the opposite way and shifted to the left, Vitaly could have very easily been permanently paralyzed from the legs down, or much worse. This is the incident that prompted his sobriety, which he he claims to maintain to this day. Vitaly required months of intense physical therapy as he learned how to walk again. As he told Roman Atwood in 2022, this meant he could not work for about 5 months, which landed him in even more dire financial straits. On top of his now mounting medical debt, Vitaly was still embroiled in a civil suit for beating a woman senseless a few months prior, and it didn't help him that YouTube had cracked down on his channel's monetization too. For a while, the only money he made was coming in through Facebook. Then on June 9th, 2021, the suit was finally settled. He was granted a pretrial diversion on July 6th, facing no objection from Lily. Vitaly ended up not being convicted, and literally spent more time in jail for his stupid prank videos than the time he brutally mangled a random woman on the street, so make of that what you will. Vitaly's first official return to the internet happened on July 6, 2022, the 1-year anniversary of settling the suit with Lily. In a 3-minute video posted to Facebook, Vitaly seeks to catch his audience back up to speed on where he's been, and why he stopped uploading videos a few years prior, which he attributes to burnout. I think it was a little bit more than that, but okay.
I'm gonna be real with you. I simply stopped uploading videos because I got burnt out. Before I had fun, and then it became a business and a job.
Vitaly announces he's been 7 months sober and apologizes for what drugs and alcohol had done to him.
The fame got to my head. I started abusing drugs and alcohol, traveling the world with beautiful women. You think it's all cool, but at the end, I wasn't really happy. Because of drugs and alcohol, I got into serious legal trouble. I'm so sorry. I was left alone and broken after the incident, and nobody to blame but myself. People that I thought were my friends weren't my friends, and I just fell into depression. I lost everything because of that. Look what drugs and alcohol did to me. It almost ruined my life.
In this video, we see the beginning of a trend that I've noticed nearly every time he addresses the assault. He speaks almost solely from a place of me, what this has done to his career, how he lost everything. But he doesn't even acknowledge what it was he did in this video. In general, he very rarely, if ever, mentions Lily. He tends to skirt around how this may have impacted her, and instead focuses on how he is the ultimate victim we need to feel sorry for.
You said that that's not me. I don't do that, right? Like,
yeah, I had an ego death. Yeah, I never lay hands on a woman and stuff. So, you know, next day waking up and label as a woman beater, having people come up to your house and scream that, and just like being insecure all the time. I'm never gonna meet a girl or even have sex with a girl because like if I was so insecure I couldn't talk to any girls, because if I talk to a girl she's gonna go home and Google me and never probably block me.
It's just a little pathetic and says a little something about his character to me. I don't personally feel like this is how a truly changed, remorseful person would discuss what happened, but his Facebook fans were happy to see him back regardless. Most importantly of all, Vitaly announces here that he is officially returning to content creation and that he's excited to start making videos for fun again and not for business. It's true that we are on the dawn of a new era in the exhaustive lore of VitalyzdTv, but I don't think anyone could have expected what that era looked like.
Aiden, you're watching this, bro? You tried to get on Ben on Twitch? Oh, so cute. What happened to being a king of Kick? Well, I'll take your spot.
Kick. It's a website, not a very fucking good one, but a website nonetheless. Months after documenting some of his most vile ambassadors, it brings me no joy to inform you that Kick hasn't really changed much at all. Between Jack Doherty almost killing his friend after texting and speeding down a rain-soaked highway in his hideously wrapped McLaren, to Aiden Ross reportedly trying to bribe this guy into IRL streaming Hurricane Milton on an air mattress, Kick's reputation isn't about to claw its way out of the gutter anytime soon. If Haktua can't save them, I'm just not sure anyone can. But the historically scummy atmosphere and notoriously lax regulations also carved out the perfect little ecosystem for a guy like Vitaly to thrive. His very first stream was him making fun of his, at the time, ex-best friend FouseyTube.
Dude, Fousey, what the f? I'm scared of this shit.
How do you like the balls?
We could probably talk for hours about Vitaly and Fousey's troubled relationship, but just know it all fell apart a few years back when Fousey publicly accused Vitaly of assaulting an escort in a hotel.
Under 10 minutes of her being in your room, all of a sudden at my door, knocking, screaming, crying. I open the door. This poor woman barges into my room, holding her close, covering herself, and trying to speak to me in English, saying, "He's hurting me. He's hurting me." Holding her wrist where there were marks from how tight you were holding her. Next thing I know, Vitaly, butt ass naked, with a condom hanging off of himself, turns the corner, comes to me, spit flying out of his mouth, saying, "This bitch won't let me put it in her ass. She's a whore. Give me my money back. This bitch won't let me her." You screamed that in my face.
I actually haven't seen many people bringing this up since it all happened so long ago, but it was once covered on Drama Alert, with Vitaly's response essentially being that he didn't do it, and that actually Fusi sleeps with prostitutes too, and that he's a hypocrite. What's even weirder is that after all this time, the two contemporaries seem to have actually rekindled their friendship in some capacity, which means Fusi was either lying or is fine being friends with a guy who he claims assaulted a woman in front of him, which would not be out of character for good old Vitaly. These guys are both extremely unreliable narrators though, and I find it incredibly frustrating that we have such little information on the situation, but either way, Vitaly put on his best Fusi impression to make his grand return to the public sphere in late 2023, creating some more viral moments by doing what he does best, pranking the unsuspected masses. And by pranking, I mean sexually harassing and threatening strangers.
Excuse me, sir.
Hi. Oh.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Would you mind if I eat your booty?
I'm sorry. Sorry, this isn't a plausible conversation.
It's not?
No, I'm sorry.
Why? You're wearing a pink shirt, so I thought it's like like welcome to Miami.
No, I guess I should be more careful. I'm not too aware of the symbolism.
Well, this is Miami. Be careful, because you're gonna have to sleep with one eye open tonight.
Yeah, Vitaly the GOAT is back! I mean, seriously, who the hell is this content even for? You know you f***ed up when even the Drama Alert Twitter account is asking if you're the content king or just doing harassment. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that second one.
Social media, f*** that garbage. I'm here for one reason and one reason only. To pick up black girls like you and eat them out like there's no tomorrow.
Judging by these clips, it seems Vitaly is permanently stuck in 2016 mode. Unfortunately for him though, society has kind of moved past the need for obnoxious, untalented pickup artists being racist to random people in public. One quick glance at the replies seemed to indicate a general distaste for this rehashing of what may have once worked a decade prior. But Vitaly wasn't about to let himself be forgotten so easily, which meant he wasn't about to take his foot off the gas going into 2024.
But I like hot Cheetos. I like hot Cheetos.
Hello, sir. Dimitri, sir.
This guy's here to meet a fifth bro.
Vitaly kicked off the year with a generational epic win in the form of having all his legal debt heroically wiped out by the honorable Steve Will Do It. Of course, such a selfless act of kindness only came after relentless begging on Vitaly's end. A lot of his streams from the very beginning of this year featured the big man pleading with people richer than him that if they could just lend him a measly $140,000, his legal woes would be a thing of the past. The bank would unfreeze his assets, and he could finally move forward from that horrific tragedy that happened to him in 2020. Remember guys, he is the victim after all, not the woman he brutally manhandled. It couldn't be her.
Bank account's been locked since May.
Why?
I own 140 G's, so if you want to pay me that,
you
I'll
owe
give
money?
140K, and they locked my account because I missed, it was 10K a month payments, and I couldn't afford 1 month, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay, maybe one day I come have a big check, and I'll pay it. Nah, they just surprised me. I woke up in Europe with a negative $1 million.
Yeah, they locked your shit.
They locked my shit. I'm not putting you on the spot, you can say fuck off, but more than ask. 140K, December I give you 200K back. And I'll pay them and my bank gets unlocked. And you will get clipped and you will be a fucking live hero.
I know it can be hard for Vitaly to actually pay attention to other people sometimes. Immediately after Steve handed our friend 140 G's in cash, Vitaly began rejoicing, thanking God for the money right in front of the man who actually gave him the money.
Well, here's your 140,000. You're out of debt, you can get your bank accounts back. There you go.
Bro.
We just won it.
Bro. God is good, dude. I'm about to faint. I can't breathe. God is good, bro.
It's not like this was a small favor either. Before Steve stepped in, Vitaly was apparently living out of his car, relying on nothing but stream donations to keep him fed, blaming the lawsuit entirely for the undesirable position he found himself in. Now, of course, he wouldn't let such miserable conditions hinder any awesome content creation, though. Vitaly has a lot to offer the world, doesn't he? Who wouldn't want to watch a Russian immigrant terrorize Mexican immigrants for content?
Tomorrow we're renting a truck and we're going to Home Depot to pick up Mexicans, pretend I need to work on my house, and we're gonna take them to the immigration center.
Yeah, he kind of just pulled a Steven Crowder here by saying he was going to trick a group of undocumented immigrants looking for work and to bring them to ICE.
You guys have papers? I need papers. Do you have papers? He's gonna call ICE, you motherfuckers!
Having these desperate men compete against each other on his stream by making them jump over a fake border wall?
Alright guys, this is a competition. We got 4 Mexicans from Home Depot, and while they're waiting for our podcast guest, we put them to a challenge. Whoever hops it first gets $100. Uno, dos, tres, go! Okay, he hopped the border before. Come on, got it, I got you. Come on, you're almost there. Immigración, pew, 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 pew. What happened to the other 2?
The fat guy not gonna make it.
Then he had the nerve to turn around and try to moralize it?
To all my fellow Mexicans out there who watches, who really thought I was gonna take you guys to immigration, joke's on you. We know how to go viral. I knew that was gonna piss off a lot of people. And you guys talked about it, and look what's happening now. Nothing. We brought them for the day. We're gonna lace them up, feed them, buy him some fresh clothes, and we brought him to hang out with us.
Dude, you're just exploiting people desperate for a job. Admit that at the very least, instead of grandstanding so transparently. But reducing undocumented workers to his own personal court jesters and forcing other immigrants to eat hot chips at the southern border wouldn't exactly earn Vitaly the kind of widespread acclaim he had hoped for. Who would have thought? But before long, he would find a new wave of content to carry him to new prominence and, in turn, the front page of World Star. Vitaly and Aiden Ross, a match made in the fiery pits of hell, managed to go viral in January of this year for catching an alleged child predator and walking him on a dog leash in front of a Target as a sort of public humiliation tactic, I think. The obviously shocking and over-the-top nature of this video immediately spurred skepticism in the comments. People were left wondering whether or not the stunt was actually real and just how legal any of it was. In the clip, Vitaly says he'll let the suspect walk free without calling the police after he forces him to pick up a chew toy with his mouth.
We're gonna let you go. You're a lucky one. Good boy.
You're my good
boy. He needs a little water.
You know what I would do? I would kill you, you motherfucker. I'm sure you're enjoying this time, but you will never fucking do this again.
I will never do this again, ever in my life. Really, I don't want any trouble. I was afraid.
Didn't you hear me the first time?
I got you. Dumbass motherfucker.
All right, let's go. Come on.
But is that really the best way to go about bringing a child predator to justice? I think we could all agree child predators are bad, so if you catch one, you should ideally hand them over to the relevant authorities to ensure they can't escape and end up harming any more children. I mean, that's what this is about, right? It is that, right? Making sure these people get what they deserve is a huge responsibility, one that should be left up to the professionals and not a power-hungry belligerent cosplaying as a Russian hitman and his illiterate friend.
Ultra nulatit. Oh my God! Ultra analatis.
Love you.
I'm getting ready.
And this wasn't just a one-off stream, as Vitaly would continue this pedo hunting shtick well into March when he would break his previous streaming record by a mile with the help of Mickey Mace, a fellow influencer and ex-friend of Vitaly's who we will be revisiting a little later.
I want to slice their throat. Last time I shaved their heads. Oh God.
Holy moly.
Jesus
We
Christ.
can shoot them or no?
This is not Twitch.
We can shoot them or
Oh
no?
my God, bro.
No, bro, please don't.
The bottom line is that Vitaly had finally found a new arena to dominate. Streaming almost non-stop for the first half of May, Vitaly would call upon a rotating cast of renowned celebrities and streamers to join him on his noble quest to rid the streets of child predators through extreme force and humiliation. Esteemed guests included the likes of Takedowns, Bobby Shmurda, Myron Gaines, Charleston White, Sneeko, and Lil Pump. With the roster so packed, I don't think I have to tell you that chaos was sure to ensue. The highlights of the first episode include Lil Pimp following a suspected child predator around a park, singing "You're such a fucking pedo, I hate it."
You're such a fucking pedo, I hate it!
The rapper is also seen getting up at another suspect's face, smashing his phone onto the concrete, with Vitaly telling the man they'll leave without calling the cops if he deep throats the mic on camera, which is, of course, exactly what happens.
Put this in the mouth. Show me how you're gonna suck his dick.
No,
Put this
yeah.
in your mouth. Put this in your fucking mouth. Show me. Shove this fucking microphone in your fucking mouth. Deep throat the microphone and we'll go.
Póntelo en la boca y nos vamos.
There we go.
Y nos llevamos a la policía, pero póntelo todo en la boca. Ajá. Yeah. Más.
If the cops were in fact called, we certainly don't see it here. And that's probably because Vitaly and his band of cronies can be heard threatening to set the man on fire and wanting to run him over with the car. Which I'm sorry to say, both of those things are against the law.
And if we find you, te quemo vivo, que yo I'm gonna light you on fire. Sigue. All right, good job.
But it does make for some viral moments. The targets being suspected predators opens the door for Vitaly to make the perfect excuse to unleash his violent nature without much criticism. If you point out that Vitaly and Takedowns shaving a man's head and hurling a smoke grenade in his direction as he runs away isn't the most effective way to combat child sex abuse, you must be a pedo sympathizer, or even worse, maybe you're a pedo too.
Like hitting the dude and shit like that. I think it's still L because it's like you're like a vigilante, you're like the judge, jury, executioner, and you do it on stream. I think it's just an odd thing to do. I don't like it, I don't endorse it, I think it's stupid.
I don't know why XQC protects pedophiles. Why don't you guys go ask XQC why he protects pedophiles? I want to know why he does too, I don't know.
This is Mickey's opinion, by the way.
That's not my opinion, it's a fact. He said this on a live yesterday, that's a fact. Once you do that, you can never take that back.
But one has to wonder what is actually being accomplished when Vitaly pisses into a water bottle and forces an alleged child predator to drink it live on stream.
Drink it. Chug it. Chug my piss. Tastes good, huh?
Don't spit.
You will never do this again, right? I'm sure. Do you give it?
I don't want it.
The f*** he looks like your fucking bitch.
No.
You're gonna throw it away.
No. I was asking where to put.
It's hot, huh? You enjoying this?
Is this somehow more productive than what the police would be doing? I mean, come on, I know the cops aren't always the most effective, but there is just something so uniquely depraved about this entire picture to me. And it's not like Vitaly doesn't understand this. He does get the police involved sometimes. It's rare, but it does happen. One suspect actually did end up getting arrested after trying to meet up with a 15-year-old boy and was instead met with Vitaly threatening him with a fucking alligator.
You ready to wrestle a gator? You ready?
There have also been situations where random people will come up to someone that Vitaly is confronting and just punch them in the face, knocking them out stone cold on the sidewalk, so Vitaly has to call an ambulance. The entire internet thought this guy was dead until Vitaly assured us he was okay and in the hospital, where he apparently got arrested, I think. But you could have just avoided that by having the police involved from the start. Then there are plenty of other instances where they catch someone like Space Jam producer Herschel Weingrod trying to meet up with a teenager, and it goes nowhere thanks to Vitaly's incompetence. Sure, it made a couple headlines immediately afterwards, but never led to any actual arrest or consequences for Weingrod. In fact, it almost never leads to any arrest. It's just bizarre. If you're really committed to punishing as many predators as possible, you wouldn't willingly let so many of them off the hook after you've gotten enough content out of them. There are numerous examples of Vitaly luring a predator onto his tour bus only to let them right back out onto the streets after they eat a hot chip on camera.
Do I call the cops, Chad, or shave his head? What do I do? You down for your head to be shaved? Cleaning up the streets, all right, brother. You're good to go. Never do this again.
It's like, as long as the stream is entertaining enough, that's all that matters. I just can't help but think this is more of an outlet for Vitaly to make money, being as unhinged as ever, than a good faith attempt to protect children. But that didn't matter to Kick viewers. With this first wave of streams being such a massive hit, Vitaly would begin to plan an even more elaborate second season, a 10-day marathon of nothing but pedo catching in July, filled to the brim with impressive stunts, an all-star lineup of guests, and a much higher production value, even if Vitaly ended up firing the crew during the first episode.
Fucking production, everyone's fucking fired. We spent fucking $2 million on this for this garbage Taylor Swift concert. Taylor my fucking dick. Fuck everybody. Whoever needs to stay here, I'm taking over. I'm sorry I killed. I'm sorry fucking steak. I'm gonna promise you, I'm gonna deliver you the best fucking show ever. Come here, you fucking pedophile. You're coming with me. Everybody, bro, let's get it.
Vitaly had apparently planned and choreographed an entire spectacle in which he'd kick off the season by jumping out of a helicopter in full Joker makeup. But because of technical issues, there ended up being no audio.
Pulling it up.
Alright, the chat. Yeah, make sure.
The most shocking part of any of this is that Kick somehow thought they could sink $2.5 million into Vitaly and get a return on their investment, though the budget for this season did allow for a brand new sick CGI opening in which Vitaly hops out of bed, jumps into a Lambo, and goes gambling like the really stable and secure individual he is, signaling to me that there's a good chance Stake is paying Vitaly a ridiculous amount of money to gamble on Kick, both websites being owned by the same people. This is just my own little theory. I haven't seen Vitaly confirm any of that, but it would explain why he's glued to a gambling app in between humiliating what he claims are child predators. Instances of Vitaly covering a supposed pedo in pasta sauce and forcing him to kiss his feet while apologizing profusely.
Oh.
Kiss my feet.
Thank you so much.
Kiss my fucking feet. Good boy.
Are juxtaposed with the most banal, mindless footage of him hunched over in his decked-out tour bus, waiting for his decoys to bring him the next suspect.
All right, let's play a little blackjack. Let me see that other bag too. Fuck.
Kyle donated $5. Vitaly, I love you, bro, but Ian is speaking only all love, keep it up.
I'm getting fucking raped in this blackjack.
And believe me, they pulled out all the stops to promote this thing too. I had someone I know send me a picture of this billboard she saw near Hollywood ahead of its debut. Kick was really trying to sell this thing to a mainstream audience, and to anyone who may not have known what to expect going into it, I'm sure this was a little bit more than a jarring first sight.
He said he's down for the good hair.
Move.
Go. I think no. All right, come here.
This is actually from the second Lil Pump stream. I guess the first appearance was so well received, Vitaly just had to bring him back for round 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
No. Hold on. Can't show papers.
Yeah. Let me make you.
Part 2!
And I do want to focus on this episode for a moment here, because I think it's a good sample of what you can get across the series as a whole. About an hour in, the guys are told by a decoy that a new apparent predator is on his way to the Airbnb. But instead of calling the police, Vitaly and Lil Pump fantasize about doing this.
Let's teabag him. Let's
let's
make him eat our ass.
Yeah.
No homo.
Nigga, I got a hairy ass, bro.
After some quick gambling, where Vitaly is sure to remind his audience to play responsibly.
We're going back on Stake. I'm a fucking addict. Guys, use my code Vitaly, bro. You can win a lot of money, but I want you guys to play responsibly.
They begin going after rapper Quavo for apparently ditching an appearance on Vitaly's stream for a rally with Kamala Harris.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about Quavo, bro. Quavo didn't show up on my stream, but I'm so happy he didn't because he endorsed Kamala Harris. And he's talking about gun violence. The motherfucker raps all about killing people and drugs. I was a fan until you endorsed Kamala. Not a fan anymore. Sorry, Quavo.
It is hard to imagine why he'd want to do that. Why meet up with the sitting vice president of the United States when you could just hang out with this guy?
I know everything in my childhood. I fucked squirrels and goats. I remember those days. They weren't pretty days, but hey, an option is an option. Were you abused as a minor?
As soon as the alleged predator arrives, Vitaly bursts through the closet door literal seconds before he kisses the decoy, which if this isn't staged and we are dealing with a real predator here, kind of seems like you put that girl in a vulnerable position for a little too long, but what do I know?
Huh? Like 2 years? Yeah. You can take your pants off. You can kiss my cheek. Yeah.
I'll be back.
The guy starts crying and the chat starts spamming that it looks fake. When asked why he messaged an underage girl in the first place, he says he was horny as shit, which is just insane.
Why'd you come here to sleep with a 15-year-old girl, bro? Come on, you're better than that, Poppy.
I don't know. I was. You don't have. I'm straight up like I was horny as shit. Like.
They then drag in John Grogan, an influencer lie detector specialist who will be popping in and out throughout the stream, but it's important to note that he is notorious in the polygraph community. He's been accused of malpractice and is said to have received an honorary polygraph training certificate from the American College of Forensic Studies in 2004, the owner of which stated that the certificate was never meant to qualify recipients as polygraph examiners. And that's not to mention that actual lie detectors have become significantly more criticized over the past few years, with the National Research Council determining that there is no evidence to suggest they're effective at all. They measure stress more than anything else, and I think it's safe to assume that being ambushed by an amped up streamer, his team of cameramen and crew members, a polygraph examiner, and a group of random people screaming guilty, guilty, guilty in your face must be a pretty stressful environment.
Have you ever had sex with a 15-year-old?
Not. We find the defendant
guilty, 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 guilty. Do you have a small penis?
Yes.
But we find him guilty.
Guilty, 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 guilty.
It is a complete joke to say that an honest lie detector test could be completed in that kind of heavily sensationalized setting, and that's ignoring the fact that lie detectors are inadmissible in court for a reason. Yet it becomes such a prominent staple in Vitaly's stream because, well, this is about entertainment. This guy knows, he's trying not to laugh. Chat keeps telling them to call the cops, but because they're too busy screaming Lil Pump lyrics,
Pedal. I hate it!
Vitaly orders the perp to eat a hot chip and informs the man he's free to go at any time. He then calmly and politely assures the audience that none of this is fake.
I'm tired of everybody fucking saying it's a fucking actor. Did we pay you to be here?
No, sir.
Did we pay you to be here? No. Shut the fuck up. I'm the fucking realest live streamer there's out there. I'm fucking risking my life, my security, my whole team. We're fucking real. Whoever wants to fucking hate because I'm back on top can suck my fucking big uncircumcised dick, bitch.
Vitaly literally gives these guys the option to eat a hot chip or go to jail.
Yo, can I have a hot chip? Give him a hot chip and he's good to go. You want to eat a hot chip? By the way, you're free to go at any time. Your charges are communication-related charges, indecent exposure, because you sent a dick pic, sexting with a minor, solicitation of a minor, online predation, physical interaction and attempted crimes, grooming, attempted sexual assault, child incitement, and conspiracy. You want to, I know it hurts, right? You know what you're looking at? 35 to 40. 35 to 40. So a hot chip or prison?
Hot chip or 40 years in prison? Make your fucking choice! Get the fuck out of here, bro, if you're not gonna eat the chip.
I mean, I'm just floored, man. You can't brag about the number of people you've gotten arrested when that number could be higher if you hadn't let so many others off the hook. It's great to say you've gotten some people arrested, but what about everyone else you released back into the wild?
John, who the fuck
is the best episode? Who the f is the best live streamer, bro? We're the team. We're cleaning up the streets.
I just watched you dump him back onto the streets. What are you talking about? He explains his reasoning for not calling the police, which includes him saying he doesn't want to go to jail himself and lose citizenship.
And the reason we didn't call the cops, because imagine the cops come, be like, sir, why do you look like a chicken wing? Well, they cut my hair. Oh, Pump, you're about to release some music, but we're gonna take you to jail. We don't want Pump to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I got my citizenship on the line.
He adds that he didn't force these suspects to do anything, that it is an entrapment, and ends the diatribe with a W segment.
I made him do anything. Nobody kept him entrapment. We told him to go at any time, and the W segment. Next one, we'll shave the asshole.
But before long, we're back to the races, and it's honestly pretty remarkable how many suspected pedos he's able to catch in one night. But because this next guy is Asian, Vitaly sees a green light to let the racism fly.
Rice gum, what happened, bro? I feel so bad for your rice gum. I'm so sorry.
He can be heard out of frame wishing the perp and the decoy would remove their pants and make out with each other.
Shirt off. Nice. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Easy. Go in. Bye-bye. Take it off. Undress. Impress. Take it off. I am getting horny over this chat. This is amazing. This is better than any fucking porn I watched and paid for.
Yeah, so that's great. I'm not sure if Chris Hansen ever said he was getting horny from watching his decoys interact with a pedophile. Maybe that's just a Vitaly thing. He then jumps out of hiding and dials the racism up to a new extreme, accusing this dude of bringing us COVID, that he's gonna make us sushi.
Well, you brought coronavirus into this country and around the world, as you know. Yep. And you're about to make me some fucking sushi. You understand me?
He then forces the guy to call up his parents, to which he asks whether or not his dad is Jackie Chan. I mean, literally, what does this do at all?
Hold on, let you talk to your mom, my husband. Hold on. Just a moment.
Sounds good, mommy. Hi. Hi, Jackie Chan.
After it's all said and done, he hits him with a breakaway chair and lets him go home like nothing happened. I mean, I'm not sure how anyone can watch this and think that Vitaly is handling these guys with even an ounce of tact. My man can't even be bothered to keep his own staff safe from his brain-dead guests. At one point, Lil Pump just starts assaulting who he thinks is a pedo, but is actually one of Vitaly's stunt guys.
What you get for touching little boys, huh?
5 minutos.
That's what you want to do, right? That's what you want to do, huh, buddy? Huh? Bitch ass.
This is our stunt guy, bro.
Oh. Are you serious? Oh my god!
I mean, it's just a circus.
Trump is the fucking man.
Oh shit. Look. Ow.
Go.
Ow. I thought the fucking shit was right there.
With everything considered, it's not surprising that many have written it off as fake. Mickey Mace, who I mentioned earlier, went on a podcast back in June and alleged that one perpetrator during the second episode of season 1 had been a paid actor, though he provided no evidence of this and would go on to appear in later Vitaly streams regardless. Also, the supposed partner of another suspect appeared to be mic'd up during a different sting, which was brought up by fellow YouTuber Oompaville in his video.
Dior. Yo. Oh, you work here yourself? No.
It's a key to the bathroom.
What's up?
I got a date with her, so I don't know. She might come back.
Oh, it's unlocked. Okay.
What are you doing?
So that's definitely something to consider too. But I also wonder, if it is all fake, would that make what Vitaly is doing better or worse?
I'm going live November 1st. We're catching predators again. We're cleaning up the streets, and we also have 4 new show concepts that you guys are going to be excited. Whoever lives in Burbank, we're looking for 2 more locations to clean up the streets and catch the pedos. For a fun fact, we actually partner up with Burbank PD to arrest these psychos. Anyways, apply right here.
As I was finishing up this video, Vitaly announced he'd be returning to Kick for the first time since August, teasing a whole variety of streams he intends to produce, like catching cheaters, catching homewreckers, and of course, catching predators. But this time, to his credit, he did say he would be teaming up with Burbank PD, and I think that could actually be good, dare I say. It's a little too late. He should have partnered with the police all the way back at the beginning of the year when he started this thing, but I hope he can fulfill his goal goal of locking up as many child predators as possible. I think everyone on the planet can agree that we need less predators on our streets. I just don't see how catching and releasing them after you've brutalized them for your stream really achieves that goal. Other predator catchers say that repeat offenders happen all the time, and the best option is to let the legal system run its course. Otherwise, these creeps are just going to be more careful next time not to get caught. These issues are incredibly sensitive, and there's a reason they should be handled by those qualified for it. I don't mind Vitaly and his crew finding predators and bringing them to the appropriate authorities. I'm just not sure all of the other stuff is completely helpful, and that's just assuming what he's doing is real. He's been accused of faking his content since he burst onto the YouTube scene over a decade ago with his prank videos. But then that brings up another question. If it is all fake, who in their right mind would approve of being cast as a pedophile in front of tens of thousands of unsuspecting viewers? Who would let Vitaly beat them with breakaway furniture and shave their heads and humiliate them for content? Maybe I'm underestimating just how desperate people can get, but I can't help but find the whole thing bizarre and difficult to watch. One thing I know for sure though is that no matter where Vitaly goes from here, controversy will follow close behind. He is an inherently volatile figure. As much as I hope his activities end up locking up as many legitimate predators as possible, I can't help but worry that his unorthodox methods jeopardize the cause. Because at this rate, the only thing Vitaly is looking to catch may just be another lawsuit. Also, don't forget to subscribe, join Delete Me down below, and follow my stupid Twitter account. Okay, that's enough. Bye-bye.
Let's put a peanut butter on my balls and let's have a threesome with the dog.
Yeah.
Another one's by the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one buys the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Pedophile.
Certified pedophile.
Pedophile. Pedophile.
Certified pedophile.
You're gonna record. Yeah, record your face and let everybody know on Instagram story that you're a fucking pedophile. Ready? French, you got anything for the choir? You goddamn booty snatcher.
You goddamn booty snatcher.
Softer choir. You going to jail.
You going to jail.
Pedophile.
Certified pedophile.
You ain't never coming home.
You ain't never coming home.
You piece of shit.
You piece of shit.
You dirtbag.
You dirtbag.
Take over.